4 massive teams that you would have to take down. And it would mean, in my head, that you have deservedly gotten yourself to playoffs. And they made the first step. Nightmare coming into game number 2. They got to make the second. They got to make sure they get this. I feel like if this goes to a 1-1, they might see it slip through their fingers.
It's can't just be that one shot. You need to make sure this is a consistent way to win. So Ash is going to be banned. The Varus, which I was mentioning just before this, is actually up and available. Top Esports, though, going to go straight towards that Sejuani again. Really wondering now what they're going to pair that up with that first round. Last time it was the Lucian Nami that they went towards, which was quite heavy bot side focus for a Sejuani comp. We have seen, of course, Sejuani be a very versatile champion, but in the LPL, when you get these solo laners of the melee variety, it does become such a powerful champion. LGD, they can just slam in this Maokai again. Don't see why they can't do that. Question is, what bot lane are they going to pair that up with? They won't have the Aphelios this time.
Won't have the Aphelios, but can go towards the Lucian themselves, knowing the Aphelios has been the Aphelios even has been taken away. We have seen the Nami being taken away on this combination. You can pin it up with the Kog'Maw, but I do prefer the Zeri in this instance because you're kind of guaranteeing yourself the Zeri Lulu combination that you can kind of go for. I will say it does mean that Jin Zhao will not have as much priority on the roams or even on the kind of setups he's going to be able to maybe find for himself.
Might not even have the melee support because it's a Zeri as well. It's sometimes more likely to go towards that Lulu, right? It just changes the whole dynamic of the support matchup.
Exactly. But Top Esports this time around, they're going to take away the Yone and say, no, we're not going to let you have that, or the Renekton's. They're locking in their top side of the map immediately. It's LGD now to figure out what they want to try and put into this mid lane matchup. They only have to pick one. They can only pick top or mid. They can't pick both.
I think the Akali makes a lot of sense because even when you are aggressed onto by that Yone, you can just pop your W, stop all of those auto stacking up, and that permafrost being a real threat has been the LPL answer to the Sejuani topsides, which I find just great and hilarious and awesome in so many ways because I love how the LPL sees a triple melee type and says, I'll have some melee, please. Double melee against it with the Maokai and the Akali. Likely to be something even like the Gragas in that top side as well. Have something like the triple melee top side and allows you to have some really games where we as viewers get to enjoy the huge amount of early skirmishing as well. What this means though, on the side of Top Esports, is that you have an awful lot of ability to skirt upside more than what you had in game 1. The Rise is very good roaming and turning up to plays, which we saw a little bit of. They tried to engage and invade with some priority from their mid and their bot lane, but now actually being able to hang towards the top side and get Xingtian up to a point where he can really pop off on the Renekton outside of just kind of on his own weight, under his own weight, being able to kind of solo kill. Maybe he can actually take over a game through top side.
And it looks like that's what they're going to have to do right now because the options being left on the table, maybe a Varus for Jackie Love, but we'll see what they want to kind of go for. The Renata ban to me makes me feel like they are looking towards maybe going with possibly a Kai'Sa Nautilus themselves. That would be very much in line with the composition they've built for themselves, and also with what Top Esports Jackie Love loves to play in his own right. But now we're going to wait to see. They're going to give it a time before they see where the support is. So a lot of priority going over to Jin Zhao right now, the MVP from game number 1. They want to make sure this bot lane doesn't just get absolutely okay.
They're watching us. Hide.
I don't know who that is.
Just Just immediately presses W and Kali goes invisible.
I think it's the ref. I think that the fans have like kind of latched onto the referee.
I love that.
And I know, right? It's just like, I am watching you because the ref's watching you. I think.
So
I'm not quite sure.
Back to what's happening in the last round of the draft, though. Varus has been locked in. Now, this is now suddenly, for Top Esports, arguably 3 winning lanes. It's very hard to beat out a Varus Heimerdinger, even with the support counter matchup as well. It's going to be very difficult to lock in a counter pick, which will kind of see you through winning that. Mininar can struggle into Renekton, not necessarily at the early levels, because you of course got the range advantage, but as soon as you hit like level 3, kind of slightly post that as well, the Renekton can have a lot of value. Mid lane, something like this Yone can push in fairly easily as well, especially with the Sejuani hanging around at the back door. It means that Top Esports, compared to that first game, they have much more ability to play through laning phase and get off the ground early, potentially through this top side as well. LGD, they're going to have to punish a lot more of those mistakes again in this second game. Making their own mistakes in this game, you can't afford to do that against this sort of composition.
No, you really, really can't. But as much as they've got the laning phase kind of locked and loaded, that's where they got a lot of their advantages in that last game. The CS numbers didn't mean a lot once the team fights came in, and there's a hell of a lot of team fight power here for LGD. Got so many ways just bursting out someone like the Heimerdinger or the Varus with that Akali and the Maokai, building a lot of AP in the early stages, and with the Zeri scaling as well. It's curious to see if Jackie Love does go for the lethality or if he opts in for the on-hit, the crit, or actually we've seen a little bit of hybrid as well with Abel going the double kind of AP and AD combination yesterday. So we'll see what they end up kind of going. But the top esports, they find themselves in an unlikely situation. They are on the back foot. They need to be the ones that are pushing LGD back, making sure they're gaining more than they're losing in these trades. And for LGD, build from that momentum, move forward to know that if you take this game, you have taken one massive step to maybe making yourselves a playoff hopeful. Because right now, they are only 2 series off of Team WE. They could potentially make that kind of push for it. I do believe they play Team WE as well next week. Yeah, they do.
Oh,
so
that'll be a good
that could be,
yeah,
if they win this series, that's a massive, massive playoff matchup.
It is. The fly in the ointment here, though, looking beyond this series, is you look at teams like Team WE, who just, picked up some really important wins. And you also look at teams like RNG, which are also not looking awful right now. There are other teams which are also stepping up alongside you. So LGD, this is step 1. There are multiple steps to go beyond this.
Step 1 of many. Mark gonna clear out this wave. Wait till Rookie gets within experience range. Nicely done. He's now a little bit of purple on his bar there.
That actually means you hit level 2 off the first wave in the solo lanes, which is very important. You can't share it with more than 3 people for that XP, but in bot lane it means that you can hit level 2 1 melee minion earlier. And solo lanes also means that, but remember that in solo lanes, you're meant to hit level 2 on the second wave. Hitting on the first wave actually gives you a brief window of power, especially with this lane meant to be one that is winning. Something to track. See if Rookie can take control of this matchup.
See what Rookie can do. Now taking the Yone into his own hands after playing into it in the last game. LGD were able to get a lot more done with the hard engage of the Fate Sealed. I think that's something that they're lacking a lot of in this particular game. The last one, you looked at their kind of composition. Had the Maokai, but it was coupled up with the kind of innate CC you had with the likes of the Aphelios, the Nautilus and such. Definitely doesn't feel like you have that kind of viability, unfortunately, with this one here. It feels like you're definitely relying a bit more on skirmishing and power to kind of, bring you through this one here. As we see, it is going to be a lethality Jackie Love on this Varus, as he does have the Comet. So looking to just kind of use that laning prowess to the best of his ability. And I like that LPC has opted for boots and pots right now because he recognizes, 1, I just need to get away from the Heimerdinger if I can, and 2, I'm not going to be winning this lane anytime soon. I just need to survive. So extra healing to make sure you can fill up his minions count very, very nicely.
I actually didn't see what the secondary runes were. We saw that there's bone plating on LPC as well. Wondering if there's revitalized for extra shield power from the Lulu. We've seen that cropping up a little bit on Zeri. Zeris have been starting to play around with their rune choice a little bit. Some shield bash as well into a lot of the Aphelios kind of bloodthirster builds. It's not really appropriate in the Varus matchup because 1, probably not auto-attacking him most of the time, and 2, he's not really got that same kind of overheal kind of craziness which we kind of see from other AD carries. LPC though, very happy to just scale up. I think you're going to be kind of taking the L in terms of the push in early lane, but you're just happy when you're getting that farm. You know that if you do hit 2 to 3 items in top esports, if they don't play through the early tower spike, there will be a point where you can just start taking over the game. And LPC has had a couple of the games this split like that. Of course, LGD not had the most success, but LPC by no means had an awful split on his own.
I'll wait to see. It's honestly not going to see a huge amount of action, I imagine, for the first, 10 minutes or so of this game. Tien will do what exactly he did in the last game, which is, are you taking blue? The answer is no. And
no,
they know what he's going for. Yeah, literally. It's because you just know you're stronger. It makes total sense. It's not a big issue in that regard at all. But Meteor are going to be able to put down the saplings, put down a ward or 2, know exactly what's going on and when. So he's able to kind of push in. I will say, mana-wise, Jackie Love not looking too hot right now. So obviously doing a fairly decent job here, just kind of keeping himself topped up. And that's why I like to see the pots being picked up for himself here, because he knows that if he can just keep himself in relative health, he can go toe-to-toe and keep himself in minion parity. Meteor going to try and take away his...
does allow you to invade, which is what they're trying to do this game. You see it again around this top side as well. The only being able to take control of the matchup just allows them to get a lot more done here. As he fight on both sides.
Well, Ignite traded for a heal. Jinzhao has to limp his way back towards his tower and take a bit of a reset here. It does mean that Mark is going to have to... He was thinking about going for a bit of a trade back there, maybe with the Rockets, but wasn't to be. And again, more and more power going over to the side of this bot lane of Top Esports. They are building again. Like, it's only been 4 minutes of laning phase. We're already seeing 1,000 gold, and it's just basically the bot in the mid, or yeah, bot lane and mid, and actually jungle as well. TN is farming like a storm.
Yeah. So, revisiting something that you said, you were kind of saying that, you know, we might not see something for a little while in this game. I think if that happens, LGD are so happy with it. The way I would be phrasing it actually is the Top Esports would love something to happen in the first 10 minutes. Can they actually make that happen though? Because LGD, I think one of the reasons that we're not seeing anything with these first couple of minutes, because they're very happy to just give up a little bit of farm, just so Top Esports don't get this Sejuani melee kind of combo or this kind of Varus Hyman again in early, where they have the ability to push lane, they have a lot of early damage. LGD stands happy to lose a little bit of the gold as long as it is stopping what could be a Top Esports early snowball.
Get that from Mark, just delaying LPC a couple of seconds, and that is vital as well. It could mean the difference between 2 or 3 minions being eaten up by the turret. Because now mid laners both hitting level 6. Might see some fireworks happening once those junglers maybe find themselves moving in there. And the thing I will say though, so yes, you have the Heimerdinger, he will have a little bit of magic damage. You do a little bit of magic damage as well with the Yone, just the way his kit kind of works. But it does mean that itemization-wise, you are looking fairly decent for people like Xiao Shu. Yeah, this is going to be difficult to try and fight against. Meteor wants to go for something. Haichao land the shuriken flip as the solo unbound comes in. They're being corral pushed in. This is not a great position. Yeah, I was going to say, not really in a great spot. They secure the dragon, but can Tien get out? Will it be first blood? The great deal is fantastic from Rookie. And it's Junglers trade it back. You can see the mid laners going for more. Rookie wants a little bit, but they're just hiding it out. 1 or 2 more auto attacks is good enough. And Haichao on the backside of this. Mark is dealing with him though, and he gets the steal. He wants to go back over, and LPC is not quite done. But there is a blast cone to make sure Mark stays alive. 3 to 1. Yes, you get the dragon, but Top Esports, that's just so greedy to go so early for that.
Yeah, geography works against them in that dragon pit. They don't have many ways for their, particularly their bot lane, to get over that dragon pit wall. If you have to kind of like square up around that dragon, you gotta fight. You can't retreat at that point. No rearguard action available. LGD, more than just stopping Top Esports early snowballing, they get themselves 3 kills for 1 and get themselves a gold advantage in early game, which is huge.
Xiao Shu is going to be forced to flash away here, knowing the Glacial Prison was coming towards him. So good awareness for him to make sure he doesn't die off there. And Tien going to use the fact that he is that level ahead and be just a bit of a nuisance now into Meteor, making sure he does not get to his level 6 as soon as he would possibly like, because I was going to say almost gets him there, so a little bit careful with Xiao Shu having his mega very, very soon. And Meteor trying to make this 1v2 into a 2v1. Xiao Shu needs to back himself away. There's the Glacial Prison coming down on the Meteor, who does not have flash. Good Mega Nart, good wallop as well. It stops anyone from pushing back forward onto this.
Tien, once again, though, not actually able to finish one of these kills. They got them both corralled under this turret. No escape from this one.
Oh, they're going to go both in. They're going to see if they can trade it back. Meteor should be able to get it back. That's a 1-for-2 trade. Top Esports will come out the better of the 2, but Qingtian does still have dominance in a couple of seconds, so he's going to be fine to kind of take this fight. They're taking a lot of damage here. Haichao does land quite a bit. The perfect execution lands the shuriken flip. Can he get the final bit of damage? He can. 2 for 2. LGD, they're going toe for toe.
And much like that first game, punishing Top Esports for taking fights they have no right to be taking. Again, when you're on blue side, you cannot use immobile bot laners to be stuck in the dragon pit unless you're going to kill the entire enemy team, because you can't retreat from situations like this. Rookie, credit to him, gets a very important ultimate hit. This makes this almost winnable. Almost is not the same as actually winning the damn fight, though. LPC, Jinzhao,
very important word.
Yeah, they've actually created enough space at this point. And if a couple more of these autos land from Rookie, just manage to get one more last knock-up there, maybe that turns into a bit of a cleanup from Triumph healing coming through. It is a game of inches at points, though, and the inches go to the side of LGD, and then top side Good enough disengage in the start of this from LGD through here. They managed to pin them under turret, of course, at the end of this play as well. And TN, despite not being able to get the most value out of his early game plays, we hold him to such high standards, it's quite easy to phrase it like that. TN has still been making an absolute wrecking ball of early games in spring 2023, despite this dynamic turret down and not getting the best event of the scenario.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And that all kind of was forced, to be honest, from Top Esports because they knew that Meteor would have his level 6 very soon. They had to go for it there and then. Meteor finally...
Well, guess we're going.
Pretty much. It is looking again back towards the carries of LGD, looking at Hangzhou and LPC, 2-0-1, the two of them. And this is a problem for the side of Top Esports with very heavily winning like laning phases, and that, you know, the scaling very much belongs to LDG in this regard, especially in that AD carry role. So if this Zeri can get to a, you know, Immortal Shield Bow and a Bloodthirster very, very soon, this is a difficult time for the side of Top Esports to try and even burst them out.
Well, Xian has himself a Herald, wants to add insult to injury, get some of these plays towards this top side. Xingtian had a lot of value given to him in that last game. Are they waiting for Mini? Oh, Xiaoshu, I'm so sorry, buddy.
He's going to use his nice little Mega Gnar there to make sure that he's able to do it. Yes, taking a lot of damage though. Maybe one more auto attack. Oh, it was close. It was very, very close. Tien keeps himself alive, but Meteor on this bot side maybe looking for a bit of a trade. We will see a quick recall as the Rift Herald was not put down, so Tien should be in position to contest for this dragon in 20 seconds.
Yeah, actually, similar logic to game one. Renekton's already winning the laning phase. Why do you have to double down on it if you're already winning that? Use that Herald for somewhere else. Tien not sticking around even to use the Demolish plate on that top tower. Gets that quick recall off, which means that LGD kind of know that Tien is immediately coming bot side, right, to respond to dragon, respond to whatever play you're going to make towards that bot side. LGD going towards the dragon again. Didn't get that first one, but of course won that fight. This time, Top Esports not in a position to contest it though. They spent all of their last minute or two of time on that top side of the map, making that play happen. So the objectives are at least evened up in that sense. I mean, you're just gonna feel bad for Xiaoshu, right? It's actually done pretty okay in this laning phase. The Gnar against the Renekton Sidwani can be a little bit dangerous. We see exactly why. Wait for that Gnar. You don't exactly get to move, Rashid. Don't exactly get freedom of movement here.
No, you do not. It's an unfortunate situation there for Xiaoshu, and the Chain of Corruption goes wide. Had a cleanse on LPC anyway, so I don't think he was in any real immediate danger, but Dragon was confirmed there by LGD. Now, both junglers in this mid lane are going to see the ultimates coming in. Tien has to just Arctic Insult away. Rookie had to use the Fate Seal to make sure he did not die, and this is again just kind of more little moments here that we're noticing in the favor of LGD, that the Top Esports are trying to make things work. And yes, they were getting purchased, 2,000 gold, or a little bit underneath, about 1,500 actually. But LGD are not going away, and that's the big problem. We keep talking about the scaling, the idea that this, you know, the composition that Top Esports are building, very reliant on physical damage. It's going to be difficult for them to really burn through some of these tankier members later on in the game.
And also, it's going to be harder to get through these, like, Maokai saplings around objectives to actually hit the targets you want to. Despite, you know, the problem's killing the tanks. That's one part of the problem. You've got to kill the carries too at some point. And that gold, it's a great kind of first indicator to see how the game is going. And right now, actually, it's starting to start building up a little bit more on top of the side of Top Esports will say. But you have to ask the question, how much gold do they need to be ahead? It's only 30 minutes into the game. It's still fairly early, and there are a lot of plates to be taken still, even with this rookie. Flashing away.
He had to respect that Shuriken flip into a perfect execution. Could have been deadly. Hangzhou is having a fantastic game against someone we talked about, Lightning Crash. Comes in, they're gonna throw out the ultimates. Yen trying to see if he can burst down Jin Zhao, but not able to make it really work. Xingtian now recognizing there's no Maokai on the top side.
Spike.
He's got to play the Rune Kick Spike, but he is still under tower, and Xiaoshu is going to get a nice increase of health now once he goes into the Mega, but this is all getting a little bit tentative right now, Nymera. Both teams know that they're kind of on the cusp of something great. One mistake from Top Esports, LGD find themselves in a fantastic scaling spot. But on the other side of it, Top Esports get a couple of kills. This scaling, it goes back a couple of minutes, and it makes it much harder for LGD.
It does feel, actually, just kind of trying to judge it out by eye. It feels like Top Esports on the verge of being far enough ahead. Now, 2,000 to 3,000 gold ahead, just as those plates are just going to timed out and just got past that 14-minute mark. If they can get in towards a second Herald, a good fight around the next Dragon, that might be enough to see them across the edge, particularly with someone like Rookie on the Yone. We know exactly what kind of magic he can bring out in the late game scenario. Did it versus E2G and 2-0 versus them, and or sorry, 3-2-1 versus them. It was the 3-game series. But as it stands, as you were saying, one more mistake from them in the same regard could tip things back in favor of LGD more than readily. LPC and Hangzhou, a lot of gold to them.
Bot lane turret will be forfeited. Honestly, it's the correct decision in my eyes. No plates to be taken. No, 2 auto attacks away. A slight breeze was enough to bring it down. First item's been picked up for everybody except for Rookie. He hasn't been able to pick up his Immortal Shield Bow until this very moment. And you do have a Rylai's here for Mark, so definitely a huge power spike here for the bot laners of top Esports. They could maybe look to try and really contest for this Herald here in 40 seconds.
Yep, so LGD, they're the ones with the bit of a geographic mismatch for this kind of objective. If top can stay in the river, Maokai loses a lot of value. Can't kind of pin them into these choke points. So wait to see what happens with this mid-wave. Control of this mid-wave will really determine who's got the better footing to fight something like that second Herald. You can see already, because that bot lane turret's come down, mid laners they go into their side lanes now, both very good at their side laning, but these bot lanes, a lot of wave clear from the Varus and a lot of control.
Yeah, a lot of control. Tien's actually snuck himself here. Oh, Xiaoshu walking straight towards death, I feel. He gets a flash. They will get the flash underneath the tower. He's got no resistances because he's just a baby. There's no way that's allowed. He's a child. He will be taken out. Top Esports able to completely monopolize this top lane matchup.
He's taken from us too soon. Xiaoshu, no Mega, stuck in mini. Another tower going down. Top Esports, they tried this in the last game, it just didn't quite work out to their advantage, where they realized, actually, you know, some of these 5v5s kind of diving onto the enemy AD carry wasn't really working out. Let's try the side lane. This time, they're actually far enough ahead with a damage-building Renekton with the Prowler's Claw coming through at some point, with the Blade of Ruin King already coming in. They can really start to explode this mini now. You can't really stay on the turret the same way that someone like Gragas can do, despite especially not having the easiest time with that. That dash does mean that top Esports can get themselves towards this dragon. Maybe they can get themselves a place to fight this Herald as well. Obviously not on that objective right now, so top Esports not even necessarily doing an objective trade. LGD will have control over the top river though, which means that Tian kick. No, not again. No, this is bullying.
It's not allowed. Not allowed. Xiaoshu knows that something's coming, so he's just gonna back himself away, level down. Oh, Xiaoshu, you don't know. You don't know. He's gonna go Mega, but I don't think it's gonna really help him. He's gonna finally get the Mega Nair off and should be able to walk away. I'm sorry, I jinxed you, my bro. Flash gets confirmed there. That's another death. 0 and 4 to the top laner of LGD.
Really like how top just say, look, we don't really want to fight into a Maokai that has positioning, especially when they're protecting someone like Azeri who's got a lot of gold already. Let's go to the other side of the map. Xiaoshu has the ward. Bot lane though, stuck in this mid lane, not in a great position with that Maokai ult.
Now Mark forced to flash away, and Tien is here, but he doesn't have a flash or an ultimate, but LPC taking a hell of a lot of damage, buffers the CC very nicely. Jin Zhao kind of goes, hee hee hee, I will get myself a plate. Or not a plate, a cannon minion.
Plates just smashed already. Crockery store's out of business. Into the construction
like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah. You know, funnily enough, bulls are actually
I knew you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say this. I was like, you watched Mythbusters in like 2006.
Yes, I did. Look. Awful lot of time watching a lot of documentaries, a lot of things watching Mythbusters. It gives me a lot of ability to kind of just say random facts which are by no means useful in any of the situation. But hey, as it stands, the crockery shop has been destroyed by what may or may not have been a bullet in this situation, but still, Jackalope actually able to push up into this mid lane out of the turret now, take that one down. And Tien has had a much larger impact in the mid game now compared to that first game. Really stalled out with something like 6 deaths hanging around into the mid and late game of game 1. LGD not nearly as able to pin down the Sejuani as they did before, and this is the point now where the gold lead really does feel like it is very far out of control. You're getting a lot of items coming through, second, third items coming through for that Varus, and something like that Heimerdinger as well makes it all the easier to land the big combos. It doesn't just have to be the Sejuani going forward. It can be the Yone, it can be the Varus ult, the ultimate grenade from the Heimerdinger as well. Able to start off fights and actually being able to leverage this gold lead. LGD not going to have an easy time peeling back from what top esports are throwing at them.
No, they're really not. Jinxian, Prowler's Claw alongside the Blade of the Rune King, he will destroy anyone he's able to get on top of if he's given the opportunity. So it's going to be all about positioning. It's going to be all about making sure you're not getting caught out in these setups. And I like the Renekton as well as a response to these new, you know, 80 carry kind of almost like shield builds that we're seeing. The shield bow and the Bloodthirster. Yeah, Empowered W gets you in, gets rid of that shielding. There's so much damage available to it. I really do enjoy seeing the people, you know, kind of the priority we're seeing here from top esports to say, like, yes, the Renekton is just something that we can work with. And then, oh, Hangzhou. He's going to have to try and maybe use the perfect execution. See if it is perfect. There it is. He keeps him safe and sound. Doesn't have to use his flash, and it's a much lower cooldown. Much lower
cooldown. And it's not like, at this point in the game, you can really threaten anything on the other side of the map with LGD. They don't have the stats right now to cross-map when top esports are throwing something at a side lane. I think top esports have realized this. They go to a side lane. There's nothing really stopping them on the other side of the map, especially with this Varus being so strong with the Heimerdinger. They can push in, they can stop LGD getting into the river to threaten something like a Baron, to threaten Lord of Vision. And now, when they kind of group back up into this larger unit, it's not like Hangzhou can even threaten a flank without his ultimate.
No, not really. It's almost back up. You can see the Chain of Corruption coming out alongside the Heimerdinger ult. Tien is just kind of pushing forward. Meteor has to flash away, does get his ultimate off. But the objective has been secured. That is the tower again. So 7,000 gold now for top esports. And this is feeling like the kind of matchup where it is just going to become harder and harder. Yes, you got a couple of early kills here for LGD, but top esports were able to leverage that top lane, you know, Sejuani, Renekton combination so well. They've gained so much because of it.
They have, and they've also gained a lot just because of their macro play as well. We talked about top esports going towards this side lane an awful lot. The second stage of that is going from the side lane into the larger group again. They kind of pull back from that side lane. They bring Tien back away from that side lane, and they make a play there, even if they don't find something on that side lane. Top esports not nearly running out as options to the same degree that they were in that game one. It does feel like this scaling or larger scaling composition from LGD when they're trying to play around this loop. It's just not going to have the same ability to fight at this point. Top esports going to get themselves uncontested third dragon. LGD going to get themselves a couple of wards, a couple of saplings around this top side, but I don't really see what they get out of it. They can't really capitalize on this vision on top side as it stands.
I mean, Xing Tian had to pop his ultimate there. Dominus used there just to keep him a little bit of health, honestly. And Hangzhou still pushing forward, looking for something. Will land the proto belt. Stops the back. That should be the tower traded for the dragon. So
I'll have you know it's a rocket belt machine.
It's a rocket belt, yes.
It's a rocket belt.
Proto belt.
I say this because back in like when was proto belt released? Season 7? 6? So I used to be not just an Ahri main back then. I was like a proto belt Ahri main. It was one of the most fun builds I used to play. I used to play it on a load of different champions. We just could like mash all your buttons. Proto belt was such a strong item back then, but it's changed with the Mythic rework. It's changed that item name now. Ever since like season when was even the Mythic rework? Was that season 11? Was that 2011?
Time is a construct that I refuse to abide by.
Yeah,
that's my feelings on the matter.
You see, the problem with that is that time and space are exactly the same thing. So you're no longer anywhere at any time. You're actually nowhere, no time, all once. The famous movie was released last year.
That confirms it then. I am a god.
Okay, Mods, can we just check this ego a little bit?
God complex.
Get a little scared over
here. Well, we'll come back into the game. It is still a significant gold lead, 6,000 in favor of top esports. A couple of objective bounties went over to LGD, and they are getting up the second items. The Zonya's Hourglass finished up for Hangzhou, so has a little bit more safety in that regard. LPC finishing off his Bloodthirster means he's finally got the double lifesteal action going for himself. Baron looks like it's the next port of call. The Yone has got 2 items as well. Rookie has been exceptional on this pick. Honestly, Rookie's been exceptional on every pick, but this particular one, I am remembering seeing him get a hell of a lot of engages and a hell of a lot of damage off as they find him off in the side lane. Immediately uses that Fate Sealed. And that's exactly what you want to be seeing. It does cost the perfect execution, so not exactly a none for none trade. You are still getting something out of it.
Yeah, I think the difference here from top esports compared to when they were winning around these sort of macro plays a little earlier into the game is that they didn't quite have the threat in the side lanes in place to stop LGD being able to cross map. They'd actually managed to kind of group a lot of their champions around that river, at least managed to get something out of Rookie. Trading ult for ult, just talked about how Rookie is very important to his team, and it's very, very, very strong on this Yone. It was against EDG, where he really found some of his big highlight players, getting some blind ultimates onto Fofo's Azir. That was pretty crazy, but as it stands, LGD, they trade those ultimates, but what can they actually do with this now? They're still losing in the side lanes. They're not able to really contend with JackeyLove's Varus, which was missing from that first game. I'm trying to remember if it was banned or just not picked, but this Varus, you can see how much strength top esports have, just allowing JackeyLove to be an absolute artillery bot for the bot lane.
Wasn't picked, as they did go for the second rotation of the Lucian Nami on the blue side, so not to be taken up just yet. It's a three-man knockup. Zhao has to use his ultimate on himself just to make sure he doesn't die. Look at Hangzhou though, hovering up towards that backside, knowing he's got a little bit of a flank coming in from here. This will be a great little moment here for LGD now to maybe turn and burn for the Baron themselves, but top esports have got the inside track towards this mid lane.
They don't have the
Unfortunately for
damage.
them,
They can't run down the Baron that quickly. Zeri is not the best Baron taker of all time, especially when you don't have your mid laner coming in as well. Xiaoshu has a teleport to get into this fight, but he doesn't have the best angle right now. Haichao's got to be the one to land the killer blow.
They're looking for him. They don't know exactly where he is. So they're trying to see if they can find out whereabouts he's going to be. The TP's going to be coming in now. Xiaoshu. He's got Mega, though. He's losing it very quickly. He's going to lose it immediately. Dominus is now to flank on the favor of LGD, or in favor of top esports. There we go. The Fate Seal Markets jumped on here on the backside. Haichao trying to see if he can stay himself alive. LPC needs to get away from this giant crocodile as Qingtian now isolated away from his team. He will fall down as LPC picks up that kill. Tien exceptionally tanky right now, has almost all of his health bar. LGD not so lucky. They're looking for more. They're looking to make this one work. Jinzhao falls. So does LPC. It's a double kill for JackeyLove as Rookie finds Haichao, and they get 4 for 1. Qingtian did all the heavy lifting as he was able to take down those health bars so damn low.
And despite the intro to that fight looking pretty okay for LGD, it wasn't a knockout blow from Rookie. It wasn't quite the knockout blow from Qingtian either, despite him taking down those health bars. LPC was alive. But alive with what kind of HP? LGD, they play the Baron Gambit, they try and force top esports into an awkward position as they're taking down that objective, but they didn't find the best angle for their own flanks. Haichao, yeah, you're hitting Mark, but you're not onto JackeyLove. You're not taking down someone at the very start of this fight. It doesn't even really end up getting the most damage done. Qingtian, similar kind of situation, I suppose, but at least, as you were saying, he gets a heck of a lot of damage done despite not finishing those kills, which allows the next round of cooldowns to be the killer blow for top esports. Oh, yeah, he did.
You know what? It was like not. It was. We weren't gonna see it on the main thing, so I was just like, I'm just gonna make it known. Rookie did die. Has got TP, but dead for 40 seconds. This dragon has spawned. Not an ideal situation for top esports, but this would be soul for them. This would be a mountain soul, so powerful in this context of this game, especially when you've gone with a full AD Renekton. Well, looks like Tien's going to look for a sneaky steal, nothing more. Qingtian off on the backside. Haichao looking for a flank of his own. Again, like you said, you don't take this exceptionally quickly. 20 seconds till Rookie, so he will not be here. There is the ultimate coming out from Meteor to try and catch out as many people as he possibly can. They land the shuriken flip. Qingtian's not quite coming in just yet. They do get not going to happen. It's a Xiaoshu maybe going to find himself on the backside. Haichao. Oh, Xiaoshu can't get over. He has to flash, but he does land the ultimate. They find Mark. JackeyLove goes into stasis. LPC gets taken out. Rookie is TPing in. They need to run. They need to hightail it out of here. They need to try and maybe just sacrifice Meteor because no one else needs to die. They got the dragon. Yes, they lost a couple of kills on the backside of it, but it's still a positive for LGD.
They get themselves a dragon. They do get themselves, what, a 2 for 2 overall? Yeah, that is something you'll take. You have lost your AD carry, though, who's almost all of your damage. Top esports, how bold are they feeling after this point? They still have themselves a lot of damage on the table. Not bold enough to push in for those inhibitor turrets. Short range, just wondering if there's a dive opportunity. Of course, I like seeing myself a couple of dives at that point, but would be maybe just a step too far. Top esports, despite having the oversteps, in a lot of Game 1, which is where LGD kind of found that victory through. Game 2, finding themselves more of a decent situation. So what the heck happened in this 1v1? Reminder, this is a Gnar which has been absolutely dumped on for the grand majority of the entirety of this game. But he just walks up and just autos down Rookie. Rookie on this Yone, who has all of these items, so much lifesteal, has the Bloodthirster and the Shield Bow, not able to stand up to it. That is a huge play for LGD. I suppose in the grand scheme of things, it's actually a 3-for-2 for LGD, if you include that side lane play. Tien tries to go for the steal anyway, but LGD forced them back far enough to not have the best position to fight around. Does mean that LGD can take a couple of kills, and now they're looking for a play on the side lane again.
They're looking for Rookie. He's going to go back to the soul. They're going to have Ching Tien, but can they kill Rookie before any real damage can come back? They can!
Oh,
and now Hangzhou is dead! Ching Tien is too damn big! And the rest of top esports, they'll help out their mid laner. You shall die, but you shall not die in vain. Really well played there by top esports, and they should be able to potentially end the game from here.
I think they can at this point. You've got your Zeri Lulu, but how can you really try and disengage from this play? You have one cleanse and so much engaged potential to try and get through with it. Top esports, they lose out in the side lane before that last dragon fight, but not to be taken off guard another time. LGD. We said that it might slip away from in the second game, said that might be a bad omen for a third one, and it looks like it's coming for them.
Won't end the game just yet. Their timer's still not long enough, and they didn't have a minion wave. I got too excited. Nightmare as we come into this one. 10,000 gold now for top esports, but this is all just LGD trying to make this one work. But Rookie's got double lifesteal, double shields. He's so hard to kill.
And this time he actually ends up getting his Q off as well. He actually manages to get that into a position where he can actually charge that up. Multi-man W to get the shield as well. Stacking through his Qs. So close. Arrow hits a mid-flight. Maybe that XQ down could have taken down Rookie. Not to be.
Survives, to be honest.
I mean, Rookie still dies, but it's still at the cost of an awful lot of LGD members. Really want to impress how much of a difference there has been between the Lucian Nami and the Varus Heimerdinger from top esports as well. I was really wondering what the heck was happening with that Varus priority in Game 1. Felt like that pick has defined a lot of our teams in the LPL. Players like Brule have been exceptional at it. Players like Jackie Love also having such a great history on this pick within 2023. Comes back out in this game too. You can see LGD maybe wise of them to remove that going into the third game if it does come to it, which again, looking very likely.
Looking likely, but it's not set in stone just yet. 3 items on Xiaoshu, 3 items on Haichao, 3 items onto LPC. This is still very much a chance for the opportunity here for LGT to maybe find a fight. I will say Meteor is very much lacking in levels and really needs to start farming up as he possibly can as Haichao. He doesn't have flash, he does have the perfect execution and the shuriken flip. Will get W. No, he won't just yet. Now he will. He goes golden straight away. It's a 2-man. They drop the ball in. Have you gone far too forward here? Tien, if he drops, could be desperation here, but they're going to get caught out. They're trying to kill off the massive Poro Rider, and they're going to catch Jackie Love, who cleanses. They're going to push forward. LPC can see blood in the water. LPC can see the end of the game, and LPC can carry this for LGD. Triple kill coming in for the AD carry of LGD.
This Zeri is online, certified Zeri moment just as the game looks dead, buried and gone. It is LPC who finds his moment to flash forward into the broken lines of top esports. How much can they get off of this? Rookie is alive, doesn't have his ultimate though.
Baron,
LGD,
just Baron or maybe Dragon.
LGD run out of minions. They run out of minions. They can't push into the base. They still have some of these inner turrets to get through, but that is a big, scary fight to lose for top esports. They're going to lose that Baron. They might actually end up getting themselves the soul because of it. Haichao has the ult though. Might look to contest this. Xiaoshu also coming down to the play.
I was going to say, they'll get the Baron. Will they get this Dragon? That's the question, though. Mark is here with Rookie, and it's going to be the whole inners. Mark is probably dead. Nope, he flashes away, but he's going to get followed over the wall, and then Mark will almost certainly be going down. There's a TP coming in, though, and that's going to be the Renekton joining this. Rookie Fate Seal to try and run away. Jin Zhao has joined the party, and Ching Tien cannot take this fight. Good moves here from LGD to reset that Dragon. They don't have LPC with them, who went back to try and deal with these minions. He is going to clear them off very, very quickly, and he can just barrel himself towards that Dragon Pit.
Yeah, you can also E along this kind of long wall across the jungle. You see he's doing that now, gets him a little bit quicker towards that objective. And top Esports, they try to play a bit of a dangerous gambit. They end up losing themselves the Baron, losing themselves the Dragon as well, almost certainly. Only real benefit for them right now is that they do have this one inhibitor down, which calls Xiaoshu away from the play. Jackie Love in power W, can he do it? Charging up.
He's charging. He's not going to get it. So another Dragon to LGD. It was a 10,000 gold lead. It's now just over 3. LGD are not done, and it all comes out of Haichu almost getting caught out, but because of that, they go so far to kill off this Akali.
Yeah, it's just an overstep. It's way too far gone. The flashes forward into the Mega Nuff. Xiaoshu, this guy has been absolutely dumped on the majority of this early game. Then he comes back with a hugely impactful solo kill onto Rookie. Doesn't quite manage to match that in the second attempt. But when the team fight falls, Xiaoshu is the person who tears apart battle lines, which gives the space for LPC to get into the play. So much damage coming out of the Renekton. It's got one-shot damage though. If they don't kill off this area at this point in the game, they run away with it. Coming back out onto the map now. 4 items for LPC if he wasn't scary enough in that last fight. Has a stopwatch as well. Has 2 Mountain Dragons and an Ocean Dragon on top of that. When you have shields and an Enchanter backing you up, those extra resists coming in from base Mountain Dragons, they mean more. Those shields, they're harder to get rid of because you got more resists. Top Esports, I thought they were in an unlosable position, but somehow, someway, LGD, they again push this top team. They push them and ask them questions.
I mean, look, we talked about how the game 1 was a massive step for LGD to kind of put themselves in the conversation for a playoff spot. This, if they can win it, if they can finish it off in a 2-0 fashion, is monumentous. It's not over and done with by any stretch of the imagination, but my God, does it give you belief. They finally are starting to take some of the standing gold, and they are bringing the gold back bit by bit, little by little. 4 items now. They are basically equal to the AD carries, and you mentioned the Mountain Dragons, how powerful they are, especially when you have a lethality Renekton and a lethality Varus. They need even more.
That flat penetration works much less on much higher stacked resistance. You'd much rather have had a bit more of that percent penetration beyond that point. Of course, when you've got Eclipse built up, when you've got the Cyrildas, that is also in that place as well. But having to get through that shield, having to get through the extra resist, no easy feat, particularly for someone like Rookie as well, who's looking to try and get those one-shots on the Yone. It just becomes that much more difficult. Hasn't even got himself an Infinity Edge. We've seen from both Yones in this series actually going for Bloodthirster and Shield Bow as your first 2 items, then stopping off for another defensive item as your third, was Death's Dance for Haichu in game 1. It's going to be the Force of Nature for Rookie in this one. He's so far behind the damage curve though that LGD, they have the damage advantage now. It's taken them a long time to get there, a really long time to get there. But they have crawled their way into that point. And
37 minutes to be exact.
Yeah, but hey, 7 minutes, they managed to make it to that point. In other games, you would have said, oh, you know, it's top Esports, incredibly good early game team, good luck surviving to that point. They have done so, and despite so many of our top teams in the LPL, your LNGs, your EDGs, your top Esports, your JDGs, being ruthless in early game, some of our mid-table teams have been able to hold on through the storm. That's where they've managed to kind of see their own successes. Rare Atoms springs to mind. OMG, similar kind of team. LGD in their ranks as well.
WE as well.
Absolutely. All of these teams have that ability, if they get to late game, if you do let them off the hook early game, to punish you in the way that LGD currently are. And as you said, what an important victory it would be for this team.
Take a breath. Take ourselves a moment. No real fight's going to happen for the next minute and 30 seconds. That's when the Dragon Soul will spawn. Serelda's Grudge picked up here by Jackie Love, so he is in full item territory. LPC is basically in full item territory.
Well, he has himself an elixir as well. Like, I think that's a great call. Get those elixirs. All that immediate power, get it all on the table right now. This should be the very last fight. This Mountain Soul, even if the Nexus doesn't fall in the immediate aftermath, that Mountain Soul is going to be absolutely killer for either team.
Yeah, I feel like the Baron doesn't even make that big of a difference right now because you can trade that for the Mountain Soul. The Mountain Soul is probably still better. Look at the shields coming out here for LPC with the Lulu, with the Bloodthirster. Rookie going to push forward, see if he can maybe gain something of an advantage, but no one's going to take the bait. Mid lane priority will, for the moment, be kept in a neutral state until those next minions. 30 seconds, here we go. Nightmare, what do you want to see from both these teams?
Well, it has to start off with some kind of control around this river, stop the easy access of someone like Rookie into the backline, give some room for Hangzhou to find his way into the backline as well. This is how he has so many items, and Rookie's going.
It's going. Xiaoxu does lose his Mega pretty early, if I'm being totally honest. It looks like Top Esports are happy to make the trade. Maybe put Barrel down mid lane. They've got the inside track. They've got no minions for the moment, though. Dragon's about to spawn in 6 or 7 seconds. Hangzhou is on a perfect flank. They have a ward, but they know it just went down. So Hangzhou, he can just keep skirting around this vision. He could find himself on Jackie Love.
Yeah, Top Esports trying to brute force their way into the river, deny as much value from this Maokai as possible. Qingtian, remember, not tanky, but a lot of damage. Needs to find a perfect angle.
I mean, they've got themselves the Maokai ultimate. The Qingtian has got himself a good angle. He's got the dominance, but he can't get in. That's Mountain Soul. They can't fight right now, Nightmare. They can't do it. They're too slow. They couldn't pull the trigger. And now you haven't traded it for the Baron either. You haven't got yourself the inside track. You're actually on the wrong side of the map. Mark gets deleted by 1W. Oh, Lord, Nightmare, it's all going wrong.
It's going so wrong because Top Esports, they couldn't find themselves in the right position at the right time. Qingtian on the flank, putting his dominance up, but can't find his way into the backline of the team. Gets spotted out, I think, by one of those wards around that blue side from LGD.
They shred this. Mark has to go back.
Now they have the damage to take down these objectives as well. They have Mountain Soul to tank up this Baron. It's not like they're even losing a lot of HP for this. This is going to be taken out completely for free. Rookie, yeah, going to take himself an inhibitor on the spot side. Okay, so free, not quite in the definition of the word, but with the empowered recalls, this is a constellation inhibitor. This does not get you a strong foothold in this game. You are down both of the large objectives on the map. You don't get to put LGD over the fire and say, if you play around one side of the map, we'll take an objective on the other, even if they're not strong enough to fight them right now. We're pressing 72,000 gold for both teams. The scaling is here, and it is in favor of LGD. I
mean, just... what do you really say about this game right now? You're hitting full items being picked up. Nobody fought but LGD. I'm going to be totally honest with you. They came out with everything. Yes, an inhibitor went down bot side, but Xiaoxu is not in any danger of getting dove. It would take 3 or 4 members to really try and take him down now that he's on 4 items. And even then, with a Mountain Soul... yeah, yeah. You can say that again, but... I mean, just look at the shield there on LPC. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, that's what a Mountain Soul and his BT. Then he gets a Lulu shield. He's got about 1,500 health of shield alone.
And with that GA, remember you get armor from that as well. Buffed up by 3 Mountain Dragons. And the shields obviously matter for that as well. LPC against the full AD team, so difficult to finish off. And you can see that Top Esports trying to resort to getting some kind of side lane pressure from Rookie on his Yone. The Yone he's found so much success over Spring 23 half. LPC, the flanking. Zeri actually has so much threat at this point. Again, he can walk forward with that GA. Even if they burst him out, can they kill him when he comes out of his revive? I don't think so. LGD moving in force. Gonna force down this inhibitor incredibly quickly. Top Esports, how are you defending this? You can't just leave Rookie on the side for forever.
They're not gonna gain much more than just a turret here. Rookie will gain a little bit of gold. It's Xiaoxu to go and deal with him. I will say Rookie will burn these turrets very quickly. But, 4v4, I still say that LPC and LGD are much, much more powerful in these situations. Another tower has been traded back. Still the gold lead, funny enough, for Top Esports, but that means little to nothing at this stage in the game. Everyone just so tentative. Items getting finished up. Levels being capped out. I talked about how Meteor needed levels about 4 or 5 levels ago. He's at level 17. He doesn't care about levels. Yeah, he's got that now. It's all fine and dandy. 42 minutes, it becomes less and less about the way the map has been and more about how you execute literally the next team fight.
Well, you're even at the point now where you have Xinjiao picking up the Vigilant Wardstone, their support warding item, which you very rarely see in pro play. Most of the time, the games are over before supports are on a level where they can even buy that item. Elder Dragon, 2.5 minutes. That is obviously a way that any team can get back into the game. An Elder Dragon steal is almost always a win condition. But can Top Esports even survive towards that? They can push in all lanes. Hangzhou pushing in mid.
Goes forward. They're gonna get the lightning crash. Jackie Love taking so much damage. Look at LPC. He doesn't care. He's moving forward. And all this happening. Where was Qingtian? Where were you, Qingtian? What were you doing? You didn't have any way to be with your team. It meant that you're losing everything. LGD are going to destroy everything. There's going to be 2 Nexus towers left, and that's it.
That's it, their real estate has gone absolutely through the floor. LPC blows the flash, doesn't kill anyone, but may as well have done, because those HP bars, no position to defend the base. Top Esports, much like the first game, actually, playing as the Aphelios with all the peel tools available to him. They can't get on top of LPC again in the second on the Zeri. It's been so hard for them to try and close down this AD carry, and now with all of this gold, all of these resists, all of these shields,
So how much is healed?
it's absolutely ridiculous. That's 24,000 damage heal, like blocked with the Bloodthirster shield.
Holy moly. That's insane to think about.
That's
Just
ridiculous.
so much. That's just so much. Like, and how do you burn through that? How do you get through that right now? Like
there is a Serpent's Fang on the Varus, which helps a little bit, and there's the empowered W from the Renekton, but I mean, we've seen how hard it's been for Jingtian to get into the right place at the right time. Again, it's such a hard problem to solve.
I mean, you talk about the Serpent's Fang. I like that you bring kind of notes to that because he had to get rid of his Edge of Night to get that Serpent's Fang. Getting rid of the Edge of Night meant that he got hit by a couple of abilities in that last fight up at the top inhibitor, which meant that he had to back away. He couldn't fight. So now, Top Esports, I mean, I'm not saying they're going for desperation, but they're going to be able to get a little bit of damage down onto Meteor, who immediately going to be able to pop his ult. He's not dead yet, though. You can't burn through this Mountain Soul. Xiao Shu goes into Mega. He's taking some damage, but it's so difficult. Now Mark's in trouble. Huge Meganar brings everyone back into LGD's waiting arms. The Fate Shield is decent, and it's the top laner and mid laner, but they're not able to kill off the Zeri. Triple kill for LPC. Tien is forced to run away, and Nightmare by damn LGD have done it.
The closer you are to the top, the longer it is you have to fall. LGD 2-0 Top Esports.
What a win. You can see what it means to the fans as well. And this LGD team is something to be excited for. Yes, it's unlikely that they'll make playoffs, but my God, they're going to fight tooth and nail. Every single match now that they come up against is a must win, and it's going to be so hard for people to knock them down. Great play for this team overall.
And now in the last 3 series, which this team has had, they won 2-1 versus BLG, a team which has of course had its own inconsistencies, but they're a team with Yagao on it, they're a team with Shun on it, a lot of very well-regarded players. They lost 2-1 to EDG, but still took a game off of one of the very top teams. And now they have just smashed out this series versus Top Esports in what I would say should be one of their worst matchups. LGD are a team that wants to survive through some mid and late game team fights, as we saw in this series. Top Esports have rarely let anyone do that. They've slipped up a couple of times as the split's gone on, maybe not looking as clean as they had done in the early to mid split of spring. But to do this against Top Esports, even at this point in the split, is an incredible milestone and achievement for LGD.
Huge. You cannot say it any other way than that. Huge for them, and massive upset. And look, unfortunately, when we talk about these kinds of wins, these kind of momentous moments here for a team like LGD, it does mean that we got to point our finger at someone who is not feeling very good right now. Top Esports.
Yeah.
They just weren't here today. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. You have this lineup, you have this quality of players, and you play like this in 2 games, it's just not good enough. And this is why I love the LPL, because even if you are a top team, there are no free matchups. There are no free wins for anybody in this league. And it does feel like right now, Top Esports, they're on a little bit of a struggle right now. That's a 2-loss streak now for them in a row. They lost to LNG, which was a 2-0. They lost now to LGD as a 2-0. They got TT, BLG, OMG. Those are 3 playoff caliber teams. So, like, you're looking at a fairly tough run of schedule here for a team that's kind of faltering a bit.
And every time a victory like this comes up, you get a little piece of a blueprint to take down this team as well. It has always been the case in the LPL where typically top teams, they go towards a certain kind of style. With Top Esports, it has really been about getting a command and control of the game through the laning phase and then playing out some very strong macro, again, around that one-item spike. It's not a unique kind of identity within the LPL when you have other teams that play towards it, but they have their own spin on it, right? That's been the meta, and that's how they played it. Now you have these teams you're playing up against next, and while they might not be your top 4 teams, your top 5 teams all of the time, they are very much good enough to take the learnings from the wins, like LGD have just shown here, to then put top esports into very difficult positions again. They've been exposed today.
I mean, look, like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about any kind of setup. As top esports with a 10,000 gold lead, you should not lose that game. That game should not go another
Absolutely
15
not.
minutes. That game should never get to the point where, and because that's the thing, you're at 10,000 gold with an early game composition that has hit massive item spikes. You should never allow Azeri, Akali, and Nar to get to the point where it's like, oh, it's now down to execution. Because guess what? You pick the early game, they pick the late, they win the late. That's just how these champions work.
No.
And it's just not good enough, in my opinion. It's really frustrating because I really do love this team. I love Rookie. I love that we get to see Qingqiang kind of become a monster. But right now, this team just losing to LGD, it's such a body blow.
It is, but on the other side as well, because you have to view it from both sides. We hold top esports to very high standards, so we have to call them for games like this. LGD, though, particularly Xiaoshu, actually, in the second game. He was dove 3, 4, 5 times on side lanes, had to get away with his flash, barely getting away with his life in multiple times. He was the player that killed Rookie before that key dragon fight, which top esports really started to losing control of that game. He was the person that punished the overextension under that mid lane inhibitor turret, got the Mega Gnar onto the Yone and the Sejuani under that tower. As much as I do think LPC does deserve probably the MVP for this game, it would be my personal view to give it towards that top lane as well. Taking that pressure and making something special of it, crazy against one of our top teams.
Absolutely. But we're going to send it over to Christina, who's standing by with the victorious Xiaoshu for an interview.
Hello there, welcome to Post-Game Interview. I'm Christina. We're joined by Xiaoxu, the top laner for LGD. Never underestimated LGD in the end of spring split. Thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on your 2-0 victory against the Top Esports. So how did you guys prepare for this matchup against Top Esports, who ranked the 4th place on standings? I would say it's a massive win for you guys. 欢迎小徐来到我们的赛后采访，恭喜老干爹今天2-0拿下了滔博。那么面对到此前在积分榜排名第4非常靠前的滔博，你们有做什么样特殊的准备吗？并且我们都知道，在赛季末期的老干爹是不可战胜的。
打滔博的话就是多看他们中野嘛，就是发育就好了。
From my perspective, when facing top esports, we need to pay attention to their mid jungle synergy and just farm. Speaking of farming, I want to touch on your first game pick, Gragas, in game number 1. What was your mentality when you saw your opponent banned a lot of top laners, champions like Sandy, Sai, and Jax, which you have performed pretty good on this champion, especially in game number 1. 那么今天这小徐选手也说到了发育嘛，其实我们可以看到第一局为什么会选出一个9桶来应对对面的鳄鱼呢？当你看到对面其实有对上路英雄的班位上面有很多针对的时候，你自己的心态是怎么样？有没有觉得好像这一局是不是最近我表现还不错？他们会注意到我这一点。
就9桶打鳄鱼的话，就对线算可以发育，就可以拖到打团期嘛，就比较肉。这个打之前也想到了会被ban，可能就练点别的英雄。
Actually, I have predicted that maybe our opponent will ban some signature champions on top lane, so I just practiced a lot of more champions. Speaking of Gragas into Renekton, I do think this is a good counter pick in laning, and Gragas can farm on lane, and he will be so tanky until a team fight. And the third question, I have to touch on your game number 2, which was a really big comeback. So when your opponent got around the 9k golden leads, how did you guys manage to turn the tide massively? And I also want to touch on your performance, your engagement, especially on Gnar in those mid-to-game team fights, which was really important for your comeback. 那么说到今天的第2局，可以看到小徐选手这边的纳尔在中后期的团战中发挥出了非常重要的角色。那么在第2局的时候，对面已经拉到了9000经济领先的时候，你们中后期对于特别是后期那些团战当中，从你自己的角度来说是怎么样发挥的呢？在纳尔这个英雄上，
就是前面可能被针对的有点惨嘛，就稳住心态发育，等打团对面这个阵容就是没有 AP 输出就打不动，就变大无脑跳就好了。
Actually, I was targeted by our opponent in early game on top lane, and maybe they just want to focus on top lane. And in terms of my performance in mid to late game, I do think that our opponent, they don't have a lot of AP damage. I just jump in and just dive in and engage them to make some hard engagement for our team. And a final question for you. never underestimated LGD in the end of spring season. Why are you always so dominant, especially coming to the end of spring season? And I know that Meteor, your jungler Meteor, has mentioned that you want to show what you have to what you want to show your best form in upcoming matchups. So what's your take on this part? 那么最后一个问题，其实我们是非常看到老干爹能在虽然是到了赛季末期，但是还是发挥出了你们应有的水平和表现嘛。之前的打野选手国豪也提到了说，想在接下来为数不多的比赛当中展现出这里最好的状态，然后拿出一些东西来。你觉得老干爹在面对仅剩的几场比赛当中，还会有一个什么样的表现呢？
就是兄弟们都越打越好了嘛，就是比刚开始可能适应的也更好了，就是能打出自己的东西了。
那觉得在你自己的发挥呢，就是回顾一下到目前为止常规赛旅程，特别是我们看到近几场你的个人的表现是非常好的。
就前面可能就是第一次打 LPL 嘛，就可能比较紧张，就后面就好多了，就感觉。
In terms of my own performance, actually, this year was my first time playing on the LPL stage, so I was maybe a little bit nervous in the beginning of the spring season, but I performed much better come to here. And in terms of our overall team, actually we're really doing well, especially in recent games, and we hope that we can perform much better and better and better and better. Thank you so much for joining me. 谢谢我小徐来到我们的赛后采访，期待你们之后精彩的表现。跟大家说再见吧。Back to you guys.